Three men walk into the same boardroom, same age, same tailored suits, same confident stride, but only one commands instant respect. The other two are dismissed before they even speak. The difference? What's wrapped around their wrists? Your watch after 50 isn't jewelry. It's not a retirement gift gathering dust on your wrist. It's a weapon that either builds authority or destroys it with every handshake, every meeting, every lunch. Every moment your sleeve rides up during a gesture, people are scanning your wrist and making judgments faster than conscious thought. Most men over 50 are walking around with credibility killers strapped to their arms, watches that scream instead of command, watches that announce desperation instead of authority. The first silent destroyer, the oversized tactical timepiece, 48 millimeters of psychological desperation, chronographs, altimeters, depth meters, more complications than a NASA mission. You think it shows capability. They see midlife crisis wrapped in titanium. That watch screams, I still hike, I still matter, I'm still competing with men half my age. But the only message anyone receives? Insecurity disguised as function. Authority doesn't need altimeters. Power doesn't require proof through complications. When you strap 48 millimeters to your wrist, you're announcing fear of irrelevance louder than any words. The second destroyer, the screaming status symbol. The watch with a logo so recognizable it might as well have a price tag hanging off it. You paid for prestige. You got questions instead, because after 50, obvious wealth signaling doesn't create respect. It creates calculation. Is he compensating? Does he need us to know? Is this all he's built? Real power whispers. Real authority doesn't announce itself with crowns and logos blazing in gold. That watch is a billboard on your wrist broadcasting one word: insecure. The third silent killer is wrapped in sentiment. Your father's vintage watch, your first luxury purchase, the piece with history. Beautiful story. Visual suicide in modern professional contexts. Nobody sees your emotional connection to 1970s mechanics. They see outdated proportions, faded dials, and a man frozen in the Reagan era. Sentiment belongs in safe deposit boxes. Authority belongs on your wrist in real time. The past is beautiful for memories. But you can't wear nostalgia into battle and expect to win. Camera frames a high-stakes dinner. For successful men at a table, all accomplished, all wealthy. 3 watches clearly visible. One tactical monster. One screaming logo. One vintage sentiment, the fourth man's wrist? You barely notice his watch at first, and that's exactly the point. That's where real power lies. Split your mind into 2 screens. Left side, you extending your hand wearing that chunky beast, that flashy symbol, that vintage piece. The person registers it. Half a second. Everything changes. Right side, same handshake, same room. Different watch, something that doesn't compete for attention. Something that simply belongs to the judgment in their eyes? Completely transformed. After 50, your watch is psychological warfare conducted in silence. Every handshake, every meeting, every casual glance someone takes at your wrist. It's all data. And that data determines whether you're seen as still evolving or already peaked, still dangerous or safely ignored. Still playing at the highest level or coasting on past glory. 3 categories of watches destroy authority after 50. And 3 specific types build it into something unshakable. The difference isn't price. Many field watches cost less than that tactical beast you're wearing. Many dress watches cost less than that screaming status symbol. The difference is psychology. Understanding that after 50, less announces more. That refinement beats recognition. That context matters more than complications. The men who dominate rooms after 50 understand this instinctively. Their watches don't explain, don't justify, don't announce, they punctuate. What you need isn't more complications. Not more brand recognition, not more sentimental value attached to outdated mechanics. You need 3 specific watch categories that signal refinement without effort, that demonstrate awareness without announcement, that disappear into excellence instead of demanding attention. The solution exists. And it's simpler than you think. The first watch that defines authority after 50, the field watch. Not tactical, not military cosplay, not 48 millimeters of compensation. 38 to 40 millimeters, clean dial, leather strap, Purpose without pretense. This watch whispers competence instead of shouting capability. It suggests you understand tools without needing to prove you use them every weekend. The field watch works because it solves the fundamental problem most men over 50 create, trying to look capable instead of simply being capable. When you wear 38mm of intentional design, you're communicating depth without desperation, capability held in reserve. And that's real power. The rules for field watch authority: case size between 38 and 41mm maximum. Any larger and you've defeated the entire purpose. Sliding back into tactical territory. Dial must be clean. 3 complications maximum. Time, date, small seconds, anything more and you're showing off. Showing off after 50 is compensation. Strap selection matters more than case material. Leather for professional contexts. Canvas for weekends. Never rubber after 50. Rubber and resin after 50 communicate. I'm still shopping in the sports section when I should be in refined goods. Your strap choice is telling people which section of life you belong in. The second watch that commands authority, the dress watch. Ultra thin, elegant, minimal. Disappears under your cuff and emerges only when necessary. This is the watch for rooms where you're being evaluated by people who already have everything. Board meetings. High stakes negotiations. Dinners where wine costs more than watches and everyone knows it. In these contexts, excess is amateur hour. Restraint is mastery. Complications are compensation for insecurity. The dress watch says, I'm so secure in my position that I don't need extra dials to feel important. I don't need complications to prove I'm complicated. Rules for dress watch authority: case thickness under 10mm. If it doesn't slide under your shirt cuff like water, it's not a dress watch. Dial color: white, cream, or black. Silver or gold hands depending on your other hardware. Leather strap in black or dark brown. Nothing else. Every complications on a dress watch. Date is acceptable. Small seconds is acceptable. Anything beyond that misses the point entirely. The dress watch isn't about giving you information. It's about giving others information about you. That information, I understand context. I value appropriateness over show. I'm refined enough to choose restraint when everyone else chooses excess. The third watch, the integrated bracelet sports watch, the most dangerous category because it's where most men make catastrophic mistakes. Done correctly, it's unstoppable. Done wrong, it's the screaming status symbol we already destroyed. The difference is subtlety of brand recognition. The key is choosing designs that insiders recognize but civilians don't. Watches that signal club membership without flashing the card at every doorway. Size rules remain absolute. 39 to 41mm, integrated steel bracelet with mix of brushed and polished surfaces. Clean dial. Brand recognition should be invisible to 90% of people. If the barista at Starbucks knows what you're wearing, you failed. The point is subtle signaling to people who matter, not obvious broadcasting to people who don't. This watch bridges worlds. Appropriate with suits. Perfect with dark jeans and sweaters. Wears to formal dinners. Wears to weekend lunches. The versatility isn't the point. The point is owning one watch refined enough to work everywhere instead of 10 watches trying desperately to work somewhere. Most men think buying the right watch completes the equation. They're catastrophically wrong. The watch is 20%, the other 80%? Invisible details that separate men who wear watches from men who wield them, details that broadcast awareness or expose carelessness. First invisible rule: strap tightness. Your watch sits exactly 1 finger width loose, not tight enough to leave marks, not loose enough to spin or slide. When a watch rotates to the inside of your wrist, you look careless about details, and people assume carelessness in visible things means carelessness in everything. Second invisible rule: position on the wrist. Your watch sits just behind the wrist bone, not on top of it. Not halfway up your forearm. When you shake hands, when you gesture, when your cuff rides up, the watch appears exactly where it should. Intentional positioning that looks effortless. Third rule: the cuff relationship. Your watch should never fight your shirt. If it catches every time you move, your watch is too thick or your cuffs are too tight. Both problems communicate the same message. I don't pay attention to how components work together. I just buy things and hope they integrate. Fourth invisible detail: leather strap patina. A leather strap should age gracefully, develop character. Mold to your specific wrist over months, but there's a razor-thin line between distinguished patina and neglected decay. Cracked leather isn't vintage. It's evidence you ignore deterioration. Replace leather straps when they show first signs of structural failure, not after they crack. The moment you see deterioration beginning, because wearing damaged leather broadcasts, I don't notice when things are falling apart, and if you don't notice on your wrist, what else are you missing? Fifth invisible rule: bracelet maintenance. Steel bracelets collect microscopic dirt in the links, dead skin cells, body oils. Invisible grime that dulls the finish once a month. Warm water. Soft toothbrush. 3 minutes. That's the difference between steel that looks like steel and steel that looks neglected. 6th rule, date accuracy. If your watch has a date complication, it shows the correct date every single day. No exceptions. A watch showing yesterday's date broadcasts. I put this on without checking. I don't pay attention to details. I'm operating on autopilot. In negotiation, that message costs you more than you'll ever calculate. Details matter because details are all people have to judge you by. 7th invisible detail, crown position. When not setting your watch, crown pushed in completely, not partially extended. Fully seated. An extended crown catches on cuffs, collects dirt, and looks interrupted, like you started something 3 days ago and forgot to complete it. 8th rule, matching metals. Steel watch means your belt buckle, cufflinks, wedding band acknowledge that choice, intentionally coordinated. Never accidentally mismatched. Gold watch with silver cufflinks broadcasts. I got dressed in the dark. Or worse, I don't know this matters. Both messages destroy the authority the watch was supposed to create. Details either multiply your power or divide it. 9th invisible secret, seasonal strap rotation. Leather watches in summer humidity aren't refinement. They're discomfort you're pretending not to notice. Summer, steel bracelets or textile straps. Fall and winter, leather returns. This isn't fashion. It's physics and perception working together. Leather straps in 90-degree humidity smell wrong by afternoon. You can't smell it. Everyone in the meeting can now know which watches. You know the invisible rules. The final question, how do you deploy this across the war zones of professional life? Because context isn't background noise. Context is everything. The same watch that builds authority in one room destroys it in another. The field watch, your weapon for situations requiring capability without theater, client meetings, and business casual contexts. Dinners that matter but aren't formal. Anywhere approachable authority is the target emotional state. The field watch on leather says, I understand tools. I value function. But I'm refined enough to choose restraint. Temperature matters. Below 60 degrees, leather strap. Above 75, canvas or textile. This isn't preference. It's physics creating perception. Leather in summer heat broadcasts. I don't notice when my choices create problems. Canvas in winter. Same message, different season. The dress watch, reserved for contexts where you're being evaluated by people measuring refinement in millimeters. Board presentations. Black tie events. Dinners with more forks than you had in college. In these rooms, your dress watch isn't making statements. It's confirming you understand rules without needing them explained. The dress watch rule, if anyone except the person directly across from you notices it, you've chosen wrong. It should be discovered, not displayed. Presence through absence. Power through restraint. The dress watch's authority that doesn't need announcement. The integrated bracelet sports watch, your choice for days spanning formal to casual without changing watches. All day meetings. Travel days. Boardroom to dinner without going home. This watch bridges worlds because it doesn't try to dominate any of them. Steel works with charcoal suits. Works with dark denim and cashmere. Versatility earned through restraint, not through complicated trying. It's the Swiss Army knife of authority. One tool, multiple deployments, zero apology. Season doesn't change the integrated bracelet. Steel works year-round, engineered for temperature regulation in ways leather isn't. Camera pulls back. Wide shot of the same man across 3 different contexts in 1 week. Monday, field watch with business casual for client creative session. Wednesday, dress watch with suit for board presentation. Friday, integrated bracelet for all-day meetings. Transitioning to dinner. Same man. 3 watches. 3 perfect tools for 3 different battles, each one chosen not for what it costs but for what it communicates. The transformation isn't about the watches themselves. It's about the awareness that choosing the right watch is choosing the right psychology. Every choice you make is broadcasting messages. The question is whether you control those messages. Or whether you're letting outdated tactical beasts and flashy logos speak for you. After 50, you've earned the right to command rooms, to close deals, to be taken seriously without proving yourself. But that right means nothing if your wrist is broadcasting weakness. 3 watches. 3 contexts. 3 paths to authority that require zero announcement. Field watch for approachable capability. Dress watch for refined power. Integrated bracelet for versatile command. The choice is simple. The impact is profound, not because watches create authority, because they reveal whether you understand the invisible rules. And after 50, understanding invisible rules is the only thing that separates men who still dominate from men who've already faded, men who evolve from men who coast. Camera frames the final image. Wide shot. The man walks into the boardroom. Three other men already seated. All successful. All accomplished, but when he extends his hand, when his wrist becomes visible for that critical half second, something shifts. The room doesn't just respect him. The room defers to him, not because his watch is expensive, because it's appropriate, not because it announces. Because it confirms what his presence already communicated. Authority after 50 isn't given. It's taken, and it starts with 6 inches of steel and leather that understand the difference between announcing and commanding.